Hello, and welcome to the Vortex Theater's virtual season. My name is Leslie Richards, and I'm the president of the board of directors of the Vortex. We are very excited to begin our virtual season with Talking With by Jane Martin and directed by Tim Crofton. I know that I'm very excited to see these 11 wonderful actresses bring us these challenging and fascinating monologues. I'm sure you are too. Our next production will be Remembering Darwin, written and directed by Brian Hansen. Please join us beginning February 19th for those performances. Of course, none of these productions would be possible without the generosity of the New Mexico Arts Division, the City of Albuquerque, the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, and the many of you who have been so generous to us. We wouldn't be here without you. We, like you, are very much hoping that live theater will be back soon. Until then, please join us for these online presentations each month. Enjoy the show.
Anyway, so this guy, the director, actually used a buzzer. Zzz. He'd sit there in his Yankees baseball cap and push this buzzer for as long as he thought the laugh would last. So, laugh line, zzz. And this was to train us not to step on our laugh. Oh, and he trained us all right. Opening night came, nobody laughs, and we are waiting for a buzzer that doesn't exist. A 2-hour play became 3 hours because we're waiting for laughs that don't happen. Oh, I aged 7 years in one night. Directors. And then I played Catherine in Mother Courage for this really silent, inapproachable Eastern German woman, and she would sit there in her stool, immovable, 4 hours, silent. It was like I was performing for a radio show. Anyway, after about a week, she asks me out for a drink, where she suggests that we sleep together in order to get in tune with the play. And I say, if you want to get in tune with the play, you should sleep with the author. And she says, my dear, Brecht has been dead for 30 years. And then I say, well, in that case, you're perfect for each other. So, we are really gonna do this. I mean, of course we are, but it's really mysterious, you know? I mean, they're already out there, opening little candies and peering into pocket mirrors, and who are they? Who knows? And what do they expect? Who knows? We do it, they watch, we finish, they applaud, they go home, and then we go home, and what was it? Who knows? And what I would like to know is how they live in this town without any decent Chinese food. Okay. So, we are 15 minutes from places, and I am getting ready for an evening of lacerating self-exposure, and they're already out there reading the program, reading my bio, getting a little insight into who I am. And what I would like to know, do you think this is enough eyes for this house? What I would like to know is, who are they? You know, just the basics, just where they live, their favorite color, their sexual orientation, the last relationship they ruined, you know, just the basics. And then that way I would do a little lacerating self-exposure, and then they would do a little lacerating self-exposure. And then who knows, maybe afterwards we go get a drink, because then things are equal. None of this unilateral crap. None of this, I'm in the light and you are in the dark stuff, which Truth to be told is beginning to get to me. Me, as in Moira. The Semi-Taurus from Juilliard, 2 Broadway credits, this baby, and an unreleased horror film where I'm eaten alive by stone griffins on the towers of Notre Dame. 5 minutes, right. And I mean, I have nothing against these people. These people who have paid their money. They have paid maybe too much money for an evening of, well, for an evening of entertainment. Wow. You don't ever really think about it like that, do you? What you are. That you are the entertainment. You know, I strike myself as a number of things, but I just don't strike myself as... You know what I would like? Just once. Is that just after my entrance, I walk down stage and I say, excuse me, can we have the house lights up? Oh. Thank you. Then I would just look at them. These people who think that I am entertainment. And I would just take them in. Hi. How are you? And then I would say that I am a little fragile. Freaked out. Sort of at the end of a personal relationship. That feeling that you are not lovable. That you're a mutt. Too much of a mutt to be loved. And that it's hard to act. That it's hard to be the entertainment for people you haven't even seen, don't know, haven't looked at. So I just need to see you tonight. Okay? Okay. Okay. Ready to rock and roll. Ready to do it in the dark for whoever and whatever and whoever shows up. I mean, that's the way this kind of thing is done. They've got rules in this kind of thing. And besides, I mean, I'm not a mutt. I am supremely confident. I lacerate myself with self-exposure. Oh, and don't screw with me, it's what they said on the paper. I am the entertainment, and when my lips move, let no dog bark. And besides, fuck them if they can't take a joke, right? And me, hey, I am the joke. On the other hand, I'm in the light.
I spend more and more time in Oz. You know, after I turned 35, after Suzanne went to high school. This is Scraps. I had a dressmaker do it. Oh, it's not the only one I've got either. Let's see, I've got Ozma, and I've got Dorothy, of course, and I've got Glinda the Good Witch. You know, I have even started going out in this stuff. Let's see, there was the Midnight Rocky Horror Show, and there was the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and oh, one night I went to a gay bar. They waived the cover charge. Oh, always as Scraps, because my face doesn't show. See, Jack doesn't even know I have the Oz books. Sure as hell doesn't know that I do this. Do you know the Patchwork Girl? Oh, well, she's in the 7th Oz book. She was made from a patchwork quilt by Dr. Pitt, the crooked magician, to be his servant. He sprinkled the powder of life on her. But what nobody realized was that Oho had dumped a bunch of cleverness into the Patchwork Girl's head. Too much for her to be satisfied to be just a servant. So she set off for Emerald City with Oho and with the transparent glass cat who has the ruby heart and the pink brain, and with the living phonograph. And they called her Scraps. And sometimes Patches. I wish I had her cleverness. Oh, I know how to fix a nail hole with toothpaste and how to spray cut flowers with hair fix to make them last longer, but I've never had a job because I don't know how to do anything. Well, not anything they pay you for. I'm not too good at learning new things either. I just freeze up or something. But I loved the Oz books when I was a kid. Do you know the countries? Okay. Well, there's Munchkin Land. Everybody knows Munchkin Land. And then there's the Winkies, Jack Pumpkinhead, and the Tin Woodsman and the Scarecrow all have their castles there. And then there's Gilligan Country. And there's Quadling Country. You know, I can get around in any one of those better than I can in downtown Cleveland. Sometimes when Jack leaves, I go to the window and I look out for a long, long time. And then I close the drapes and I go to Oz. I can clean and still be there. You know, Jack doesn't understand why I put yellow linoleum in the kitchen. Nobody dies in Oz. See, no matter what is happening, Ozma watches from her magic picture, and somehow you always get saved. Oh, but there are also some really great bad guys in Oz. Let's see, there's old Mombi, and there's the Gnome King, and there are the Skeezers. You think I'm ill, don't you? You want to put me into group therapy or maybe a self-improvement seminar, or maybe send me to night classes toward a law degree. I hated school. How could anybody like it? You know, you can live your whole life and never have to subtract. And have you noticed how nobody talks about anything anymore? I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about anything for at least 2 years. God knows Jack doesn't. In the mornings, He reads me the cereal box out loud. And he thinks I'm boring? Well, he wouldn't think I was so boring if he could see me in this now, would he? What would he do, I wonder? He'd call his mother for advice. And she'd tell him to buy me a Cuisinart or maybe an exercycle. But I live in Oz. I can see it all, and I'm even beginning to smell it. 3 hours walk along this trail brought Scraps and Oho to a clear level country with a few farms and some scattered octagonal houses, waddling red and smelling of peppermint. I can live in that sentence for a full 3 hours. You know what? I like all of that better than life. One day, I'm going to be waiting at the front door when Jack comes home from work. The Chevette will pull into the driveway and he'll get out with the weekly charts and the Southeastern financial records and the demographics under his arm, and I will be waiting for him with a big kiss, spatula in hand. Me, Scraps. And he'll say, "What a wonder you are, my dear. I fancy that you would make a splendid pin cushion. If you belonged to me, I'd wear smoked glasses to look at you." And I would say, "But I do belong to you, Jack." Oh, Jack, I'm your helpmeet. I your homemaker. The thing that's frightening me is I'm having flashbacks, sort of like after combat or acid. See, we had some people over. Jack bought this new Atari. It's one of those television game systems. There's space invaders and asteroids and cosmic capers, and I can't stand the sound of them. And then they were talking about municipal bonds or something like that. And we were all sitting around the table with the pretzel mix. There was Jenny and Alan and Marty and Turk and Jack and me. I went to Oz. See, I was in trouble, and I was being rescued from this giant whirlpool by an orc. It's a big bird who has 4 wings and 4 legs and a propeller for a tail. And I guess Jack was talking to me, and I didn't answer him, and he had to shake me, and I didn't know where I was. I ruined Jack's best Atari score. God, probably leave me when he finds out about this. I'll take the Irish setter. But he's the provider. Oh, God, I'll probably have to make a living now, won't I? But maybe Ozma will be watching in the magic picture. She'll send the Scarecrow to come and get me, and we'll ride the Sawhorse to Emerald City. Ah, we'll have lunch with the Hungry Tiger and the Cowardly Lion. And the Scarecrow will say, "Oh, what a curious creation you are. Midway between a rag bag and a rainbow. Oh, my dear, you are bedazzling." Oh my gosh. Oh, oh. You know, the Scarecrow has the very best brains that the wizard ever gave out. Perhaps we'll be married. Kizzle Castle Core, the wolf is at the door. There's nothing to eat but a bone without meat. And a bill from the grocery store.
The day my mother found out she was dying, she asked me to go out and buy her these clear glass marbles. Dad and I hadn't even known she was ill, which was nothing new. Whenever you asked my mother if she was ill, she would throw things at you. Sesame buns, the editorial page, a handful of hair ribbons. Do not, she would say, suggest things to suggestible people. Anyway, I brought her the marbles and she counted 90 of them out and she put them in the bowl on her bedside table. Apparently, the doctor gave her 3 months and she set great store by doctors. She always believed them because they were the nearest thing to the Old Testament we had. "I wouldn't give you 2 bits for those young smiley guys," she'd say. "I go for a good, stern, furrowed physician." She wouldn't even have her teeth cleaned by a dentist under 50. So she counted 90 of the marbles out and put them in the bowl on her bedside table. And then she went out and spent $1,200 on nightgowns. "In my family," she said, "you're only dying when you take to your bed. And that, my darlings, is where I am going." And she did. Oh, we hashed it around. Dad said she couldn't possibly be dying, but the doctors convinced him. I told her it seemed a little medieval to lie in a state up there, but she said she didn't want to be distracted from what she loved, us, and from what she wanted to mull. And that everything outside, she said, was just drugstores and supermarkets and dry cleaners, and that, given her situation, they were beneath her dignity. I asked her what she intended to do up there, and she said study French, visit with us, generally mull, and maybe call a few pals. Study French. She said she made a pledge to herself years ago that she would die bilingual. Dad and I cried a lot, but she didn't. He was fun to cry with. From then on, the doctors said they were coming to see her because, as she put it, she came in with a house call, she was going out with a house call. And every day, all day long, she would hold one of the marbles in her hand. Why? She said it made the day longer. Mother had her own bedroom. It had always been that way for as long as I can remember. She called my father the thrasher. Dad could really get into a nightmare. Apparently, early on in their marriage, he flipped over and broken her nose, and that was it. Separate beds. Her room was very spare, really. Wooden floors, an old steel and brass bed, oak dresser, a bedside table, and don't ask me why, a hat rack. No pictures on the walls. She never understood how someone could look at the same darn thing day after day. She said it was bound to deflate the imagination. After dinner, we'd sit and we'd talk about issues. She said she was too far gone for gossip or what we ate for lunch. Then we'd turn in, and after a little while, just before I drift off, I'd hear this. It happened every night. On the third or fourth day, I saw one on the floor and I started to pick it up. But she said, leave it. She said it very sharply, and I asked her how come. And she said she was learning to let go of them. Oh, she passed the time. Yeah, there were things she wanted. She made out a list of children's books from her own childhood, and we got as many of them as we could find from the library. She still said they were the only good books she'd ever read. She wrote notes to, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 people, and they told us after that they were sort of little formal goodbyes, each recalling some incident or shared something, not very significant really. But the odd thing was that in each one, she included a recipe in every one of them. We got out that big old cookie tin full of snapshots that somehow never became a scrapbook. She liked that. She showed my father how to do the medical insurance and how she handled the accounts. We went through her jewelry. She wrote out the names of the plumbers and air conditioning men and repairmen. She called us wrapping it up. This is good, she'd say. I'm wrapping it up. She had the television moved up into her room, and she called me aside to tell me that it would be entirely possible that she might reach a stage where she really wouldn't know what she was watching, but that I must promise her that I would leave it on PBS. Later on, when it started getting hard, she told Dad and me that she would like to spend more time alone. I'm afraid, she said, I'm going to have to do this more or less by myself. She said she was glad, and she hoped that we would be. That this was all arranged so that you got less attached to the people you loved in the end. The next period isn't worth going into. It was just hard. Did you know that from the very start until the very last, she never admitted to any pain? Never. She called it the chills. The last thing she asked for was a picture in our front entry hallway of a Labrador retriever she and Dad had owned when they were first married. He was, she said, a perfectly dreadful dog. And she said, when you were young, you believe in the perfectibility of dogs. I was in my bed 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, toward dawn, and then this. Dad and I ran in there. The bedside table was turned over, and she was gone. Dead. When the emergency medical people got there, they found this. The rest spilled and the table fell, but this one was still in her hand. I keep it. I keep it in my hand all day. It makes the day longer.
Hi. Hey. Hi. Wow. All right. Nice place. Nice theater. Good vibes. Yes, me. Yes, sirree. Okay. Toy boat. Toy boat. Toy boat. Toy boat. Now, let's see here. For me, can you hear me? Can you? No. Yes. You are out there, right? Okay. Okay. So we're all here. I mean, you're there and I'm here, but we're all. Okay, forget it. Let's see. Audition. Get that part. Okay. All right, my name is. Shit, I forgot my name. Right. This would be construed as craziness. My name is. I did. I forgot my name. My stage name. See, I decided to use my stage name for this audition for luck. It was very. Look, what do you care, right? All right, my human world name is Mary Titfer. Titfer. You got it? Okay, good. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Just all the way in the back, loud and clear, Captain Marvel. Okay, now one more introduction and we are underway. The small person on my leash is my cat, Tat. My cat, Tat. Get it? Titfer. Tat. Right? Okay, you got it. Okay, we're making up here. We're demonstrating consciousness. Okay. Now you, the imperial you, have a part. I, Titfer, need a part. We are thus in tune. Synchronicity. So it's Audition City. Now I've got 2 pieces for you today, and here's the surprise. I've got one classical piece, late greats, and I've got one contemporary piece. Dispatches from the front. Good. All right, for my classical piece, I will take off all my clothes. Crude, rude, protrudes, dubious boobies. Beep, beep. Okay, but all kidding and joshing aside, I will take them off. Okay, now, why is this classical? Surely you jest. The body is classical. It goes all the way back and all the way front. It starts the art. The body does, but there's no argument there, eh? Naturally not. Okay. Now, in the great tradition of auditions, you may stop me at any time. Okay, you can stop me 1 second after I start. But, and here's the stinger. Just bear with me, okay? Just a little hyped up, simple task. I will be just right back with you. Okay. There, tap the cat. That's that. Okay, nice kitty. Okay, where were we? Oh, toy boat. Okay. Stop me at any time, right? Okay, just yell, thank you, Miss Titfer, firm but courteous and zapparoni. I stop. I nip the strip. But When I stop my classical piece, I shift immediately into my contemporary piece, which is full attention now, beating the cat's head in with a hammer. Yips, holy mackerel, is this broad kidding? Wouldn't want to spoil it for you, but I don't think she's kidding. So, dear listeners, that is the full menu. That is all she wrote. But the tickle in the tushy are the options. Option A, we will let this poor, desperate, deluded girl debase herself, and will be debased, mortified. I mean, no clothes? Here in front of strangers? Crummy, yucky, hateful? Or option B, we can yell out, "Thank you, Miss Titfur," and watch her clunk the kitty. Now remember, Miss Titfur is fast. It'll happen in a flash. Kitty plasm. And haven't we, you, fess up now, actually killed the little puss? Responsibility. Or option C, second to last option, we could give Mary Titfur the crummy, undemanding 12-line, 2-scene part, which, let me assure you, any mildly competent average workday actress could do while standing on her head humming, "You can take this job and shove it," backwards. Okay? Last option, now this is just too tawdry, but we are nothing if not thorough. We could give her the part now, and then when she splits, she and the furry hostage, we could take it away from her on the basis that she needs psychiatric attention. But if you did that, Mary Titfur would find you, and Jacobean revenge, kill the feline, and perhaps, disturbing thought, herself, in a particularly garish and oriental manner right in front of you. Now, she may not have the nerve, but on the other hand, we don't know. We just don't know. Okay, we are out of the wood, and we are out of the exposition and into the meat of the matter. The denouement. Everybody has their work cut out for them. The dialectic. You have a part. I want a part. We have a serious business here, right? Right. Now, I will begin my classical piece by unbuttoning my Jordache blouse. Watch me closely as both of my hands are connected to my arms.
Shoot. Rodeo's just going to hell in a handbasket. Rodeo used to be something. I loved it. I did. Once my daddy and a bunch of them was fooling around out to our place with some old bronc, and this old red-nose named Cinch got himself bucked off. My daddy just hated it. Said he had himself a 9-year-old girl, namely me. Wouldn't have no problem cowboying that horse. Well, he put me up there, stuck the riding rein in my hand, give me a kiss, and said, "Only one thing to remember, honey love. You fall off, don't come home." I stayed up. You got to ride a bronc for 8 seconds, or else the ride don't count. So from that day on, my daddy just called me Big 8. Hell, it's the only name I got anymore. Big 8. Used to be for the cowboys. Rodeo did. Do it in an open field. Folks would pull up in their pickup trucks and their cars, sit on the hood. Cowboy wrangle himself a rank steer, and everybody just wave their hats, call him by name. Ride us some bucking stock, rope a few calves, get thrown off some bulls. We just go to the nearest bar and tell each other lies about how good we were. Used to be a family thing. Willie Billy Tilson and Tammy Lee had 5 kids on the circuit. 3 girls and 2 boys. Willie and Tammy Lee. Was in a 2-beer rodeo in all of Oklahoma. Didn't have a Tilson in it. Called the oldest girl Tits. Tits Tilson. Never saw a girl that top heavy that could ride that well. She said she only fell off when the gravity got her. Cowboys used to say, if she fell face down, you could plant 2 young trees in the hole she'd make. Tits Tilson. Used to be folks who came to the rodeo had a horse back home. Ranch people, farm people. Well, they knew what they were looking at. Knew a good ride from a bad one. Knew hard from easy. Break a few bones, spend the day eating dirt, at least you knew you got appreciated. They bought the rodeo now. Them. Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Marlboro damn cigarettes. You know the ones I'm talking about. Them. Hire some New York faggot, sit on some old stuffed horse in front of a sagebrush photo and smoke that junk. Hell, honey, tobacco wasn't meant to smoke, it was meant to chew. Lord wanted you filled up with smoke, he would have set you on fire. Damn. It gets me. Got a banker suit. Runs the rodeo now. Got himself a pinky ring and a digital watch, honey. Told us the other day we ought to get ourselves choreographers. Some old ball buster used to work for the ice dam capades. Wants us to dress up like Mickey Mouse, Pluto, crap like that. Told me I had to haul my butt through the barrel race, dressed up like Minnie Dan Mouse in a tutu. Honey, these folks are so screwed up they probably eat what they run over in the road. Listen, they have got the clowns dressed up like astronauts. I ain't lying. Well, you know what a rodeo clown does, don't you? You go down, fall off. The clown runs in between you and the bull so you don't get squashed. Pinstripes has got them dressed up like Star Wars, telling jokes on the microphone. First horse saw him done up like that. Went crazy. Best bucking bronc we had on the circuit. Named a Piss and Vinegar. Took one look at those clowns, had him a heart attack and died. Cowboy riding him got himself squashed. 1,200 pounds of cardiac arrest fell right through him. Bam! Vaya con Dios. Crowd thought it was funnier than the astronauts. I swear, next thing you know, they're going to be strapping ice skates on the ponies. But big crowds now. Nobody I know, no ranch people, no farm people. Bunch of disco babies and divorce lawyers. Designer jeans, Dead Glow Stetsons. Yeah, a whole bunch of them wears French perfume. Smells like money now. Got it on the cable TV. Look. Now you know when you're rodeoing, you are just bound to kick yourself up some dust, right? Well, now it seems like that fogs up the old TV camera. So, a while back, they told us from now on we was going to be riding on some new stuff called AstroDirt. Artificial damn dirt, honey. Dust-free. Lord have mercy. Banker suit, he calls me in the other day and he says, Lurleen, hold it, I said. What's this with this Lurleen? Everybody around here calls me Big 8. Oh, well, he says, Big 8. My name is Wallace. Ooh, well, now, I said, that's a real big surprise to me, 'cause everybody around here just calls you Dumbass. Well, he laughed real big, and he slapped that big old desk of his. Then he said that I was no longer suitable for the rodeo. Said they were looking for a different type, something a little more in the showgirl line. Like the Dallas Cowgirls, maybe. He said the roping and the riding wasn't the thing no more. And went on talking about costumes and floats and dancing choreography. If I had been a man, I would have pissed on his shoe. Said he'd give me a lifetime pass, though. Said I could come to his rodeo anytime I wanted. Rodeo used to be people riding horses for the pleasure of people who rode horses. It made you feel good about what you could do. Wasn't worth no money to nobody. Money didn't have nothing to do with it. Used to be 7 Tilsons riding the rodeo. None of them dress up like Donald damn Duck until they quit. There's the law of gravity for you. There are a bunch of assholes in this country who sneak around and they see you having fun. And then they buy the fun and start selling it. See, they figure if you love it, they can sell it. So you look out now, honey. They want to make them $1 off of what you love. Make you dress up like Minnie damn Mouse. Sell your rodeo. Turn your pleasure into some ice damn capage. You hear what I'm saying? You are just merchandise to them, honey. You are just merchandise to them.
I started when I was 6. Mama sawed off a broom handle and Uncle Carbo slapped some sort of silver paint, well, gray, really, on it, and I went down to the basement and I twirled. Later on, Mama won the daily double on horses named Spin Dry and Silver Revolver, and she said that was a sign. And so she got me lessons at the Dainty Deb Dance Studio, where the lady, Miss Aurelia, taught some twirling on the side. I won the Ohio Junior titles when I was 6, and the Midwest Young Adult Division 3 years later, and then in high school, I placed 4th in the Nationals. Mom and I wore matching Statue of Liberty costumes that she had to send clear to Nebraska for.
when my daddy was there in a t-shirt with my name, April. My first name's April. My last name is March. There were 4,000 people there, and when they called my name, golden balloons fell out of the ceiling. You know, nobody, not even Charlene Ann Morrison, ever finished fourth at my age. Yeah, I've flown high, but I've known tragedy too. My daddy says it's put spirit in my soul and steel in my heart. My left hand was crushed in a riding accident by a horse named Big Blood Red. Well, I came back to twirl. I couldn't do it at the highest level. You see, that was denied me by Big Blood Red, who clipped my wings. Oh, you mustn't pity me, though. Oh, by no means. You see, being denied showed me the way. And it showed me the glory that sits inside life where you can't see it. People think you're a twit if you twirl. It's a prejudice of the unknowing. One time I was doing fire batons at a night game, and all of a sudden I see this guy walk out of the stands. I was doing triples, and he walks right out, past the halftime marshal, comes up to me. He had on this blue beaded headband. I can still see it. He walks right up, and when I come front after a back reverse, he spits in my face. You know, that's the single only time that I have ever dropped a baton. I dropped them both in front of 60,000 people. And this guy smiles, and he says this thing I will not repeat. He called me a body part in front of half of Ohio. It was like being raped. You know, it shows that beauty inspires hate, and that hating beauty is Satan. You haven't twirled, have you? I can tell by your hands. Would you like to hold my silver baton? Here, hold it. You can't imagine what it's like to have that baton up in the air. I used to twirl with a girl who called it blue collar zen. You see, the tawns, they catch the sun when they're up. And when they go up, you go up too. You can't twirl if you're not inside the tawn. But when you've got 'em up over 20 feet, oh, it's like flying or gliding. Your hands are still down, but your insides, they spin and rise and leave the ground. Only a twirler knows that. You know, the secret for twirling is the light. Oh, you live or die with the light. It's your fate. The best is a February sky, clouded right over in the late afternoon. Oh, it's all background then. And what happens is the tawns leave tracks, traces. Oh, they etch the air. And if you're hot, if your hands have it, you can draw on the sky. Charlene Ann Morrison. Oh my God, Charlene Ann. Now she was inspired by something beyond man. She won nationals 9 years in a row. Unparalleled, unrepeatable. The last 2 years, Charlene had leukemia, and at the end, you could see through her hands when she twirled. She died with a ton 30 feet up in the air. Her mama swears on it. I did speed with Charlene at a regional in Fargo, and well, she may have been fibbing, but she said that there was a day when her tons erased when they turned. As if the sky was a sheet of rain, and her tons were car wipers. And when she erased this certain part of the sky, you could see the face of the Lord God Jesus. And his hair was all rhinestones, and he was doing this incredible singing, like the sound of a piccolo. And the people that said Charlene was crazy, well, they probably never twirled a day in their life. You see, twirling is the physical parallel of revelation. You can't know that. It's throwing yourself up to God. Oh, it's a pure gift. And it's hidden from Satan because it's wrapped and disguised in the midst of football. Oh, it's God throwing spirit fire. And well, very few come to it. You have to grow eyes in your heart to understand its message. And when it opens up to you, it becomes your path to suffer ridicule, to be crucified by misunderstanding, and to be spit upon. Oh, I need my baton now. Well, now there is one twirling that nobody sees. At winter solstice, we go to a meadow that God showed us, just outside of Green Bay. The God throwers come there on December 21st, so there's snow, sometimes deep snow, and our clothes fall away. And we stand unprotected while acolytes bring the tons. They're ebony tons, with razors set all along the shaft. They're 3 feet long, and one by one, twirlers throw 2 tons each 30 feet up into the air. And as they fly back down, well, they cut your hand. The razors arc into the air and find God, and then they fly back down and take your blood in a crucifixion. And the red drops, they draw God on the ground. And if you're up with the baton, you can look down and you can see him revealed. Red on white. Red on white. You can't imagine how wonderful that is. You see, I started twirling when I was 6, but I never really twirled until my hand was crushed by that horse big blood red. I have seen God's face from 30 feet up in the air, and I know him. Listen, I'm gonna leave my silver baton here for you, lying right there, as if I forgot it. And when the people file out, you wait back and you pick it up. It can be yours. It can be your burden. It is the eye of the needle. I'll leave it here for you.
The older I become, the more I'm drawn to light, to radiance of all kinds. Both the light and the shadow, they fascinate me. Perhaps it's sort of a primitive fire syndrome. Or I suppose simply a fear of the dark. I've rented this loft and filled it with lamps. I spend most every evening here. It's both eccentric and childlike, isn't it? I prefer to think of it as a kind of playing. The hours fly, and I draw enormous energy from it. And there's the actual heat, of course. I hope I'm not embarrassing you. May I show you? It's delightful to move at random, extending a hand, weaving in and through these pools of warmth. Each lamp gives its heat differently, unique. And in between, and there are many, many betweens, you can receive, feel several sources at once. Any movement, and the balance is changed. When you've exhausted these relationships, well, you can change them, don't you see? I'm a little frightened that this will bore you, this sharing. It's very difficult to share one's enthusiasms, don't you think? Does light interest you? Do you respond to it? Night flying. Like costume jewelry on a piece of velvet. Wet neon, like trees covered with ice under street lamps. I suppose These are the sentimental images of my generation. Might I show you something? It won't take a moment. There. Now, moving through. Now, you see, I can feel the difference acutely, pleasurably. Senility on the hoof. Look. Oh, seeing the light above me makes me laugh. Why do you suppose? Yeah, I suspect you think this is a history of sorts. Of course. Many of these lamps are from Caddisfall Farm, Caddisfall, Iowa. Several of these were from friends and family. And my son. My husband. Oh, fiddle. They're all personal. No, I won't bore you. Memories, I believe, are like patterns of a sort. These make patterns and are memories. I endlessly wondered what old age would be like, as have you. A diminishment, a narrowing. There are obviously so many things one cannot do. The people that were once central to one's life are either gone or dispersed. One is less often useful. My grandfather, when he was very rich in years, used to say that he was needed and unpacked. There are necessarily fewer people. Thinking about it, then I decided to invest more feeling in objects, enrich my relationship to them so that I wasn't without intimacy. I have one sister. She lives in a sort of leisure world, planned community in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Her husband was a thoracic surgeon, and she's very well off. She moved there straight from Catsafal. And she says she is very busy with many activities. She has many, many friends, she says. Imagine, Amelia has not one single solitary acquaintance who knew her before she was 60. An amnesiac with many friends and no memories. Baking in the sun like a Pop-Tart. That's beyond me. Several years ago, she came to visit me here. She sat right where you're sitting. And we shared this odd mixture of patterns and heat and memories. I showed her, for example, how extraordinarily hands take light. Lovely. Well, after a long silence, a nice silence, really, she said, Lila, you're as mad as a March hare. And she flew home to a card tournament. It's my experience that light is more pleasurable when you diminish it. And that when one glow remains, there is the agony of pleasure and waiting for the moment that it's extinguished. It is ever so lovely. Ever, ever so. I'm bewildered and thrilled that this light, this radiance, has become my friend to succor and sustain me. Warmth, the agony, the waiting. And then, finally, of course,
My dad was going to do this tonight, but the Lord froze his face, so sent me. I learned this from my dad, who learned it on from great grand, who took it up from the Reverend Solomon Bracewood, had a real mystery around these parts way back when. Dad taught me, Miss Ellie, my mom, and Jamie. He was in it too before I went for Detroit. See what I got in here? Is snakes. A lot of people don't like snakes. Gives its nature, I guess. This here's coral snakes. Jamie, he says they got the nastiest, meanest bite of them all. Well, rattlers is your biggest. A lot of venom. You'd milk you a rattler, you could half fill up a juice glass. Dad, he said Jamie should do them, but he never did heads, copperheads. Now they're slower and safer, but it ain't such a good show. You know those dang snakes smell like cucumbers? Well, they do. Miss Ellie, she liked doing water moccasins. Dad, too. Well, he did all kinds, always. Now, your water moccasins, your good old boy snake. Flat out mean and lots of get up and go. Heck, they'll chase you. They will. Dad, he didn't like Miss Ellie doing them. You lay off them water moccasins, boy, they lay you down. Made Miss Ellie laugh. A lot of people don't like water moccasins because they think they're too slimy. They'll do rattlers. Got him a nice dry feel, a little bit sandpaper-like. Woo! Snake handling. All my blood does it. Only Dad on me now, though. Snake handling with the Holiness Church. Down where I come from, we take God pretty serious. If you got the spirit, snake don't bite you. Snake bites you. You know you ain't got the spirit. Makes the difference real clear, don't it? Well, it's right there in the scripture. Mark chapter 16, verse 17 and 18. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak in new tongues. They shall take up snakes. And if they shall drink any deadly thing, it shall not harm them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Don't figure it could get much clearer than that. Now, there's some snakes there's some churches don't do snakes, do strychnine, powdered poison. Same idea, though. They'll take some cherry Kool-Aid, mix it up, sing them a hymn, drink it down, just stand around, wait and see who falls over. Ain't such a good show. Not like snakes. My dad can do fire. I can't do it, though. He'll take him an old Coke bottle, fill it up with some kerosene, stick a rag in the top, light it up, stick it under his chin, pass it down his arm, put his hand in it, that sort of thing. He says there's some do blow torches down in Tennessee. I don't know. Jamie gave it a try before he went for Detroit. Nearly burned his ass off. Sorry. When I handle, I keep them in this box. Dad will give me this and some hide-it-all on my 9th birthday. Sometimes I'll open it up, stick my little foot in, mainly lay it open inside to my chest. There's some lay it to their face. I don't. It scares my eyes. During service, we take them out, pass them around. It's a lot more dangerous than a single handler. Snake is comparing who got the spirit a whole lot, who just got a little. Someone's just about bound to come second. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't die every time you're bit. I've been bit 7 times, 4 times by the same snake. Dad all says he got the sweet tooth for me. Dad all been bit 32 times, never saw him a doctor. He used to let me kiss him on the marks. Last one got him here. Froze him right up. Dad all says he'll fall, but I don't know. Day after Jamie took off, Miss Ellie was handling the back of the pickup over to Hog Burley. Said not to because her mind went there. Cold truck backfired and she got bit. Snake bit her 3 times before she hit the ground. Dad all laid hands on her, but she died anyway. There's 10 of us handled right there at the funeral. Snake handling. Snake knows what you feel. You can feel a person, but you can't feel a snake. If you got the spirit, God locks the jaws, keeps you safe. I tell you what, though, I don't believe in God. Left me, gone with Miss Ellie. I was handling when I knew it sure. Snake was just coming down the line. Marita, she cries out, Lord, Lord's in me and with me, in me and with me. No, it was you, Leighton, talking in tongues. People was singing and rolling. Dad all was doing switch grips, had Miss Ella's wedding ring right on his little finger, and it came to me. There ain't no God in here. There's just a bunch of shouters getting tranced. There ain't no God in here at all. About that time, that snake came to me. It felt fussy, nasty, just looking for an excuse, you know? And I was an empty vessel. Worse than a Pharisee grist for the mill. My blood went so cold I could have cracked ice cubes. Snake knew. Started to get leverage. So I said, Snake, you Satan handmaiden, you're right. There's no God in me. I'm just a woman, but I'm the only woman in my dad's house and he needs me. Out of his faith and his love, you lock your jaw. I let that snake feel a child's pure love, and it sponged it up off my hands. And then old Wiggly went limp. I tranced it. It was real good service. Didn't nobody handle and get bit. Yes. You've got to believe. Holiness Church is dead right about that. Makes me wonder, you know. I get to looking at people, wonder if there's anything in them could lock a serpent's jaw. Any power, faith, or love, or whatever. I look at them and I wonder, could they handle? I tell you what, though, you can see it in someone's face. You can read it. You look me full in the face, it don't take me 30 seconds. It's like I was a snake, some old pit viper, and I could read your heart. Maybe you could handle, maybe you can't. But there's but one sure thing in this world. You're empty, you're gonna get bit.
Oh, dear Saint Margaret. Oh, patron saint of childbirth. Oh, let me live. Let my child live. And enough with the labor, okay, Saint Margaret? I get the idea. You know what I mean? Oh, 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 oh. God, I must look like a drowned gerbil. Oh, I thought after 23 hours of this, they either had to give you a C-section or a hairdresser. Oh. Oh. St. Margaret? Oh, don't let Dr. Gusler gasp or faint or throw up or anything when he sees the baby. I mean, he hasn't delivered a woman of a dragon lately, and he is not ready for this. Oh. You must abort, my dear lady. One must think of one's husband, one's lifestyle in these cases. An abnormal child will scar your psyche and spoil your dinner parties. Creep! I thought we just did this. Oh boy. Hey, St. Margaret. Oh, send Wally back from the coffee shop, okay? Oh, coming down. Oh, coming down. Oh, laws of mercy. Oh, hey, baby. Oh, you got the classical 9 resemblances? Oh, horns of a stag, head of a camel, eyes of a demon. Oh, neck of a snake, belly of a clam, scales of a carp. Claws of an eagle, soles of a tiger, ears of a cow. Wait till Dr. Gusler tries to count your toes, huh? Oh, will you make the owls cry out and the horses to run mad? Oh, sure. Oh, you betcha. Wally. Ooh. It's my body. Oh, Jane Fonda said so. False alarm. Why have these doctors gotten so affronted by the extraordinary, huh? Oh, desperate for order, Wally says. Oh, why you, Gusler? Where's the magic? You won't even rub yourself all over with crocodile doo-doo and dance around me or anything. Oh, Wally, you bastard. I know you're at Baskin Robbins. Shorter. Oh, back pain. Oh. The Shively Suburban Hospital of the Immaculate Conception. Oh, gives me a certain ironic pleasure to give birth to a dragon in a Catholic hospital. Oh, look, Gusler, I know you told me I'm going to have a baby that isn't right. You deliver and I'll cope. Just get off my back, okay? Normal baby. Where do you think all the dragons went, huh, Gusler? St. George lanced them because they weren't normal. Oh, single combat. Oh, bright orange, 70 feet tall, wings obscuring the sun, nostrils flaring, radiant with its own fire. Oh, villagers screaming, drawbridges slamming shut. Ooh, divine shrieking prayers in the marketplaces. Nurses telling jokes by the coffee machine. God damn it, this is a long contraction. Oh, and here I come, unarmed. Oh, vegetarian. Hey, it's okay. I can handle this. It's the fruit of my womb, Gusler. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh. Oh. Oh, let me love this child, God. Oh, for beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Oh, let me live with my husband in mutual concern and generosity. Let us be love's fools. Oh, I pray that my life, my one life, will not be normal. Amen. Oh, oh, and all forgiving Jesus. I would like Dr. Gusler on a platter, or medium well with a side order of home fries, okay? Oh. Hey, St. Margaret. Oh. When I told Wally about the tests and how I still wanted it, he just touched my arm and said, sure. That's all he said, and he smiled the most beautiful, heartful, miraculous smile. Oh, that Wally. He's okay in my book. Oh, my Hannah. Ooh, burst from my stomach on your night dark wings. Oh, quicken the new spring with your scarlet breath. Oh, ooh, oh, 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 oh.
If I had one wish in my life, why, I'd like to live in McDonald's, right there in the restaurant, instead of in this old place. I come up to the bow of the hill, bent under my troubles, hurting under my load. And I'll see that yellow horseshoe, sort of like part of a rainbow, and it gives my old spirit a lift. Lord, I could sit in McDonald's all day. I've done it too. Walk the 7 miles, with the sun just on its way. And then sat on the curb till 5 minutes of 7. First one there and last to leave. Sort of like some old French fry I forgot. I like the young people working there. Like a team of fine young horses when I was a girl. All smiling. But what I really like is the plastic. You see, God gave us plastic so there wouldn't be any stains on his world. See, in the human world of the earth, it all gets scratched and stained and broken down and tore up. All of it does. Loses its shine in time. Well, God, he gave us plastic. A hint, so we'd know what eternity really was. See, if there's plastic, then there's surely eternity. It's God's hint. Oh, you ever watch those people when they come on in the McDonald's? They always run. It's as if they run the last few steps. You see if they don't. Like old Dobbin heading for the barn. They know it's safe in there and it ain't safe outside. It ain't safe outside, and you know it. I saw a man healed by a Big Mac, I did. I was just sitting there. Last summer it was. Oh, they don't never move you on. It's a sacred law in McDonald's. You can sit there for 100 years, only place in this world. Anyway, this fella, maybe 35, maybe 40, he come on in dressed real nice. New baseball cap and a bright tie. And nice white socks. Anyway, he had that disease, you know the one I mean, what do they call it? Cerebral walrus, I think they call it. Oh, he had him a cock leg. His poor old body had it 2 speeds at the same time. Anyway, that sick fella come on in, got himself a cup of coffee with a lid, and he sat down, and Jimmy, the towhead cook, know him, see? And he brought him over a Big Mac. Well, that sick fella ate maybe half of it. And he was just sitting there suffering those tremors, you know. When he saw ants come right out of that Big Mac. Now, there ain't no ants in McDonald's. Hell no. Lord sent those ants. Well, this sick fella, he looked real sharp at the burger. And then a bunch more ants come crawling on out, just nice as you please. Well, his head lolled forward, and he pitched himself out of that chair and hit his head on the floor hard, thwack loud. Like a bowling ball dropping. Oh, made you half sick to hear it. Well, we run over to him, but he was cold out. Oh. Those servant kids so nice. They watered him. They put a touch pepper up his nostril. They slapped him real hard, and bang, up he got. Standing and blinking. Well, we say, how are you? He looks at us. He looks right in our eyes and he say, I'm fine. And he was. He was fine. Tipped his Cincinnati Reds baseball cap. Big, just swallowed the canary grin. He paraded out of there clean. Straight like a beanpole popper. He walked him a plumb line without no sense of a walrus. He got outside, he jumped up. He hooted, he hollered, he sang himself a national anthem. He flagged him down a Circle Line bus, and he rode it off clear up Muhammad Ali Boulevard, a waving and a smiling like the king of the pharaohs. Healed by a big man. I saw it. I asked Jerry, could I live there? See, they close up about 10 o'clock and there's nothing going on till 7 a.m. I just sit there in the swingy chairs. And then I'll lean forward and rest my head on the smooth, clean table. I'll sing me a hymn. Shall we gather at the river where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather by the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river. Soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with a melody of peace. And then I'll sleep like a baby. Jerry, he said he'd write him a letter up the chain of command, see if they wouldn't let me live there. Oh, I got my bed in, peaceful and clean. McDonald's. You ever see anybody dying, Mom? No way, no ever. You cannot die in a McDonald's no matter how hard you try. It's the spices. They seal you safe in this life like they seal in the flavor. Yes, yes. McDonald's. Sometimes I see myself there. I think about it. I'm living there. And it's real late at night. It's like how they start up a movie, you know, real close, and then they back off steady and far. Well, it's real late at night. And you see me up close smiling. And then you see the whole McDonald's from the outside. And it's shiny and friendly. And I'm getting smaller and smaller like they do. And then it's just a light in the darkness, like a star. And I'm in it. I'm part of that sky. And it's all McDonald's. But it's part of something bigger. Something fixed and shiny. Like plastic. I know. Just a dream. Just a beacon in the night. But you gotta have a dream. It's our dreams make us what we are.
Until I was 35, there was nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing unremarkable about my life. My days were very much like one of those Baroque string quartets, soothing, placid, repetitive. School years without protest or excess, prom years not so much as a single evening's anarchy. My uncle, a Connecticut lawyer, was heard on the eve of my 19th birthday to raise a toast, describing me in a positive way, he thought, as unsurprising. In college, an unexceptional college, I appreciated music, appreciated art. I was, if memory serves, a major in a subject whose actual point of content now escapes me. Cultural geography. Had I died at that time, let's say of acute boredom in the school cafeteria eating peas, it would have been agreed upon by all who knew me that my epitaph should read, "She did as she was told." Or blander yet, she did as she supposed she might be told. I met my husband Arthur at a festive tea held in honor of the retiring faculty advisor of the Christian Youth Center. He raised a toast, grape aid I think it was, and we were married 2 years later after weekly dates spread out among 3 restaurants of vastly ordinary cuisine. We were, I am sure, the last of our generation to save ourselves for marriage. We had 2 children, first a girl, then a boy, 2 jobs, 2 job transfers, 2 subdivisions, and then on our 15th anniversary, Arthur left me. Stating that I had nothing further to give. because he said I was unmarked by life. In the weeks that followed, I suffered most because I could not seem to suffer. I became an acolyte to sangria and made brief nervous forays into singles bars, where one night I was walked to my car by a musician who suggested that we make love right there in the parking lot between two yellow lines, because as he so eloquently put it, he was between sets. Well, I resisted, and much annoyed, he cut me. Here. I just stood there, horrified and somewhat embarrassed, at sea in the midst of asphalt, staring at drops of blood on my beige shoes. When this scar formed, I was astounded to find that for the first time, people looked at me. Not unkindly and with interest. And these were not the sort of people I had known before. No, these were interesting people. People who had not been unmarked by life. And my mark, my scar, somehow made me more approachable. This blemish gave me confidence. And it occurred to me then, or shortly thereafter, that perhaps it might be best if we all wore our lives upon our skin. And so I do. This serpent is Muhammad Mustafa, who coiled his life around mine and taught me that there are dangers and passions and a sort of degradation so delightful, it seems ungrateful to resist. This bird in flight, horror struck, that would be my mother. Oh, the scythe, the ritual likeness of my musician in the parking lot. This daylily, which blooms, decays, and is remembered, is Marion, who instructed me with her death, taught me with her going. On the palm of my left hand, a crucified Christ for Brother Shelton, who reached out a hand to save me, he thought, and was repaid with pain. A rising sun for Alex. Scylla and Charybdis for Jimmy and Cal. Oh, and an orchid for... Isn't that odd? I know her scent. I can't recall her name. Huh. They have all marked me. But of course, you can see that. May I advise you, please? Let them mark you. For you see, it is the very best of us in life that have had so many imprints left upon them that it is like embroidery. And these people, life engraved, are drawn to each other and pass the time interpreting their signs. And these moments of sharing are the very best in life. This unraveling of hieroglyphs. Personally, I call it love. Lasts only so long as there are marks to read. And then it is gone. Sometimes the unmarked are attracted to me. They stare briefly, fascinated and somewhat frightened. And in the parking lots, I cut them. Just a small mark, like this. And it is then that their lives begin, with a little pain. At least if there is any understanding in them. You understand me? I think you do. Salute.